Good evening.
Yes.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. Zola, please join me here.
I sure will.
Once again, it's Tuesday evening, one day short of the day we were supposed to be here.
Yes.
So we were running back and forth, up and down, doing things that people do on Monday. But here we are on
Here we
Tuesday.
are. We're ready to do this.
And as you know, the reason why we're here is to make an effort to sell you on the idea of buying a book that I've written. I have 38 of them published.
www.odiehawkins.com.
Ah.
Or just Google Odie Hawkins and you'll see the list of books available.
Okay, let's take care of the business part of it, the commercial.
Right. Oh, yes. Get some drink or libation.
It's been hot all day here in Long Beach, so here's looking at you.
Here's looking at you.
What I thought I would do this evening is confess to my wife that I've been in jail. Actually, I've been in jail several times.
What?
The first time I went, I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe 8, 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, don't take it personally. The way it happened was that my mother was a fighter,
mm-hmm.
and she had wound up having an altercation with a policeman. We lived from Chicago on 43rd Street. Yes, 43rd Street, between South Parkway and Cottage Grove.
Mm-hmm.
She had managed to get herself involved in an altercation with an officer named Green. He was about 6'3", black man who was a street patrolman. They had people in that time who walked down the street. Right. Everybody knew him and he knew everybody, and he knew better not to get out of his place, because at the time most thugs carried long knives and some of them had pistols. So he was known. He was corrupt and so forth. No, he took bribes and he did everything that you're supposed to do, making a neighborhood policeman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the altercation developed, but when people told me about it, I ran to see what was happening. There was a little crowd around, well, going to be a big crowd.
Mm-hmm.
She had grabbed Officer Green by his tie and was hammering his face with a sledgehammer right hand.
And he could not defend himself?
And he could not defend himself. He had his pistol on his hip, and if he had made an effort to go for it, they would have probably killed him.
Oh, these were her friends.
These were her friends. And they were saying, they were enjoying it, use your left. Well, she got her left on holding his tie, right. and she was going to change hands and change. Anyway, the police came, as we used to say, the Irishman came, because for some reason they had one neighborhood cop who was black and all the rest of the people were white. She had gone into the club by then to have a celebratory drink, because she had beaten Officer Green to a pulp. He's leaning on a lamppost and he's pointing his fingers, and she's in there, she's in there. They go in and they bring her out, and she's flexing her muscles, so she just kicked the cop's booty.
Oh my.
The next time I saw her was in court, and this judge, a congenial Irishman, nice red nose, I think he liked to do whiskey from time to time.
Okay.
So, little lady, can you explain yourself and why it is that you attacked Officer Green? She said, I didn't attack him, he attacked me. Well, how did you have you had his tie wrapped around your fist and you were beating him up with your right hand? Well, I had to do something, your judge, your honor. So, I did what I had to do. So why was you beating him like that? Because he's just up in my business. I remember her saying that several times. And he's saying, what business is that? Well, he's just in my business. Mm-hmm. Okay, we give you 90 days in the county jail for cooling off.
She really couldn't say it, otherwise she would have incriminated herself in something, gambling or whatever else.
Whatever it is, whatever.
Right. Okay.
So she gets 90 days in the county courthouse. They end the whole charade by telling an Officer Green, we're going to recommend to you that you pick on someone your size the next time.
I'm sure everybody thought that was
Poor guy's nose. So I go to visit her for the first time in the county jail. Slam bam, you know, she's got a yellow jumpsuit on and everything. And she was in there with her girlfriends, and it seemed like they were shooting dice and playing cards.
Vacation.
Totally corrupt situation. Whatever you wanted, you could buy. Okay, that was my first time in jail. Cleared that up.
I know about your daddy, so you can tell a little bit about that.
Second time, Daddy had gotten a 5-year sentence for a $10 robbery. But since his record was so notoriously bad, they decided to get him off the streets for a while. My daddy, he didn't want to be called father, he wanted to be called daddy because he said, fathers make you do what they want you to do, daddies allow you to do what you want to do, but you have to pay a price if you get caught. That was his mantra. Don't get caught. He was an African-American historian before his time who said, listen, I understand what happened. They enslaved us. They made us build up this country to make it as rich as it is, and I don't see any reason why I have to work anymore. We done already worked. He was from Yazoo City, Mississippi. He and the whole the whole daddy side of the family. So he did his 5 years. He came out and went right back to doing what he was doing.
Of course.
Make a long story short, he wound up at the end of the day living with a lady and her 2 daughters, conjugally, I could say. And because of some kind of brawl they had in the street, they had it in the Chicago newspapers when it happened. He wound up being stabbed in the heart with a barbecue fork. A friend of mine came to tell me about it. I was living in California at the time. He said, listen, I've got some bad news for you, Farmer Mitchell. So what's that? So we got news yesterday that your dad had been killed. You know, I felt really sad. I was working as a custodian. I'm wiping mirrors off and everything. And, well, you know, what, you got shot or something? So now, according to the best information we had, he was stabbed in the heart with a barbecue fork.
So upon I say he died of a broken heart, or he shot.
I couldn't help but laugh. Palmer couldn't believe it. I bust out laughing. You know, he thought I was hysterical. I wasn't hysterical. I'm looking at this picture of him in my mind saying, as you say, at least he didn't die of a broken heart.
Feels hard. He broke a lot of other hearts while he was alive. Okay, right.
Years passed, and I could fast forward this because we don't have very much time left. I wound up spending 4 more years in prison. Happened in California. Happened in 1987. They had a program administered out of UCLA called Arts Reach.
Oh, okay.
You know about it?
I've heard about it. Okay, that's all right. So you're part of that.
I was part of it. The idea was to take musicians and artists and writers,
professionals, basically,
and take them into the prison,
right,
and have the prisoners learn something about the arts and so forth and so on. Hoping that, I think it was last time I can remember something like a rehabilitative process in action.
Right. I recall it got well claimed that it really worked.
For some, it worked, I could tell you.
We're not going back into prison, yeah.
For some it worked very well, for others it didn't work at all. They just saw it as a joke and they tried to play on it. But for the real serious people, it meant something. I started at Chino prison, minimum security. And a writing class, they bring in, I don't know, 15 people. Minimum security is very different from maximum security. And I'm going to get to maximum in a minute, but the difference is almost like the difference between a country club and a prison. Chino was out there in the wide open spaces with fields and so forth. And I never got the feeling that you were in a place where they were really dangerous thugs. As a matter of fact, most of the people there were young. They were first offenders. The majority of the people in I found out where the black and brown population was being kept in storage in jail. I was shocked to see so many black and brown prisoners. Over there were 3 or 4 white guys, but the majority of the people black and brown. Okay, so we started writing class, and I came up with something that I'm called love stories from prison life. Yeah, there's a very active love life going on. Okay, we know about the rape scene and so forth and so on. I'm not talking about assault. I'm talking about voluntary interaction between individuals of the same sex and how it happened. In our class, I'll give you 2 examples of stories that people told. They were very, very heartbreaking in some ways. Some guy is talking about how he feels for this other person who is feeling for him too, but since they're both straight, they're both straight.
They don't know what to do with.
They don't know what to do with themselves. In jail, even in mental security, they have to think of themselves as up and down. I'm the top guy, and you're the bottom. You know, when one of them talked to me about it, he said, "We want to write about it. I want to write about it, but I want people to clearly understand. You know, there's no kissing or hugging. There's not anything like that. So could you have a platonic relationship? Well, what's that mean?
Right.
Yeah, this is your
best buddy.
In the Greek lettering about it, they call it agape. It's man's love for his fellow man. And it doesn't have to involve sex exchange or anything like that.
Gotcha.
I think I helped him out a little bit. I think.
Well, how can you do that?
Well, just by talking and writing it out.
Oh, okay.
And he wouldn't tell me which guy it was, but I found out. And they were writing about each other and what they saw. One guy thought the other one was a man. You know, he stood up to the guard. He was able to say to people, "Don't mess with me, because if you mess with me, you'll pay a price for it."
Okay, right.
And they were not big brutes or anything like this, but you have to be careful.
They demand respect.
They demand respect. In this class I was in, Menendez brothers were there, Chino at the time.
Okay.
And you think about that, they were 2 normal looking
That's all the cases while I was at the Department of Justice,
Okay, you remember that. They had several cases of things like that. One of the guys that I befriended with candy bars or whatever was telling me, he said, "Well, you know, the little blonde guy, don't fool with him, because, you know, he tried to stab a guy in the neck with a pitchfork the other day. They worked out on the field on the farm with a pitchfork." Ooh. So yeah, that's fortunate.
Anger management, okay.
Yeah, he's well, you know, I don't know, there was something about him. He would take notes and say, "Okay, everybody got notes for that?" And he said, "What did you say in the second paragraph in the 3rd line?" He was very precise, very direct and so forth. That's the way he was. For some reason, I wound up going up to the north of California to Oakland, and the program was called Arts Reach, and the details and information about it can follow what I'm talking about.
I'll put a link in the write-up.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I don't know. Okay.
Lo and behold, I wound up at the big house, San Quentin. And it was like going from a country club, like I said, to going to a prison. San Quentin, San Quentin, San Quentin. The words will always stick in my mind as the most horrible prison experience you can have. I had a sadistic guard try to almost force me to go down into the dungeons, down to the hole where they kept people in solitary, because it was like a prison underneath the prison, and he didn't like me. Put it bluntly, he came. He was sitting in the class. I had about 15 people. They were all guilty, but at least they were convicted of serious crimes. Not all of them were guilty. That was the other thing. About 3 people there were innocent of what they had been convicted of. And I'm saying, how do you know? And the guy said, hey, man, we're in here together. We're convicts. We know each other's records. We know where he was and what he was doing. So they're bitter, they're mean, they're feeling, you know, I mean, how do you feel? You served in 10 years for something you didn't do. Somebody lied about somebody. The cops comes in, that's what we call them, the police, the cop. The guard comes in and say, Hawkins, how'd you like to see the dungeon? I don't want to see the dungeon. He comes again, the following week, I went Tuesday and Friday, something like that. I want you to see the dungeon. So I don't want to see the dungeon. So people told me, hey, don't go down there, man. You know, people
especially when somebody doesn't like you.
All you got to do is close the gate and lose the key.
Right.
And it's going to take them a few hours for me. I didn't want to spend that time. So we didn't hit it off too well. We want you to know that if there's anything that goes down in here, we're not going to come in here to rescue you. I was beginning to become so paranoid. I'm thinking, this cop is going to start something. Anything would start something because there's always some tension going on. He's going to start something so that they can get the prisoners in a riot state and get me involved and keep me in there. Because you have a lockdown. You can't get out. So every day, every time I went, I was conscious of knowing that I had, he's sitting in the back of the room. I look up, he's sitting in the back of the room. I can't think of his name. Something like Jones. He reported me to the administration for making an effort to encourage the prisoners to do better crimes.
Better crimes, how's that? You're not
How to plot.
Oh, plot.
And one of the
outline.
The outline.
Okay, right, okay.
He sat back in the class.
So he had limited education.
Well, not he deliberately, in my mind, he had deliberately miseducated himself. He wanted to see and hear what he wanted to see and hear. And he did it. He did it well. When we had the conference with the assistant warden, somebody who was in charge of inmate education. Well, now, Mr. Hawkins, we understand that you're trying to teach the bad boys how to be bad, even worse. So I don't know what you're talking about, but I know he's here, Jones.
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about. Well, Officer Jones has written a report about having attended your class on several occasions, and that you're trying to encourage these men to do better crimes with a more organized way, and blah, 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 blah. Wait a minute. I'm talking to you about creating character profiles about how it is that you plot a story. Well, Officer Jones, he didn't say anything. He just sat there, he's like a little...
Right.
Ignorant. But willful, I mean, evil. Yeah. So no, you got it all wrong, and I can't convince you, but you can pick up any book on writing. Lodge Avery's The Art of Dramatic Writing would be one good one to start. And of course, they're writing manuals all over the world. It's the plotting is better, and that'll make what you're doing much better. For example, I used one case that I remember very well, a guy named Gino. Gino was a mafiosi.
Okay.
Gino was a hitman, or had been a hitman.
Right.
He comes to me one day, he was in New York, said, hey, look, I want to ask you a question. Gino, about 5'10", Italian guy, you know. Well, that's a good question. I want to do a real story about something that happened really. Is that going to operate against me, or would it say, okay, if you stay away from the actual names and the circumstances might fit a whole number of circumstances. That's why I think I satisfied him about it. You're not going to indict yourself. You're already.
Right, you're already here.
He was serving 5 years for jaywalking and something like that. You know, some people were telling me Gino killed about 35 people, but he's not in here for murder. So he says to me, this is a love story. This is a love story. Okay? I get a deal. I'm trying to imitate him as well as I can. I get a deal. You understand what I'm saying? I get a deal to take care of some business. This is in a small town in Ohio. Originally, I'm from Ohio. Before I got to New York, I was from Ohio. I don't know if you tell the truth or not. Nobody ever said Ohio like that. So what happened? I got the deal. The money's already been put in the bank, huh? So all I got to do is do what I have to do. So you have to be a little bit more explicit. What were you going to do? So I was going to, I was going to blow this guy's brains out.
Oh, that explicit I didn't use.
Yeah, okay. Just between me and you, okay?
That explicit I did not use.
You see, brain, that's my deal.
Okay.
I was going to get, I think 35, 40 grand, the usual. Oh, is that what it costs? Well, it could be, depends. So, I got to go to Cleveland. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was the other thing. I'm going to Akron, Ohio.
Oh, okay, Ohio.
I spent some time in Akron, Ohio, also.
Not much, go ahead.
But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
You know how to pronounce the name.
Akron, Ohio. They make tires in Akron. Big tires like that. So I'm there, You know what I'm saying? The setup has been done. I know who the person is that I'm gonna have to, hit. I rented a hotel room on the 3rd floor up here. I got a nice view of the person. I was meticulous. I took care of everything. I knew where I would have to go and what would have to be taken care of. Clean job. I never did messy stuff. Hey, they could depend on Gino. I'm not gonna give you my last name. Do I put my last name on the story? No, don't want to do that.
No.
Not your real last
name. This number, the name.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here I am. I spent 3 days checking the situation out. Okay. I know when this guy is coming across the street. I know exactly where I can hit him. I know what time of day. I got it all pinned down. But I decided to get down in the streets and do a dry run. Huh? A dry run, you know what I'm saying?
Right, of course.
And I'm standing there at the corner. I'm standing there at the corner. I got my piece in my I used to carry it in a little pool case, about this long. Really nice piece. I paid nice money for it. Never missed. Yeah, nobody here. The guy shoots a lot of pool. Shoots a lot of pool. Pool, yeah, you got that. You know. So I'm standing at the corner, and here's the guy. He's across the street. Now I figured out what I'm gonna do is hit him when he gets to the middle of the block, where there's a few people, and then I'll be able to just go on back up in my building, and across the street, I look over there and I see a girl. It's a girl I used to go to high school with. I remember her name was Maria. Maria. Scotchy Volley, I think her name was. Scotchy Volley. Or Scotchy Chini. I can't, Scotchy Cole is Scotchy. That's what she was. Beautiful girl. So I'm looking there, the light hasn't changed, and I'm looking across the street at Maria, and it all came back to me. It was like, my God, I was in love with her. She was the first girl I ever was in love with. I mean, I'm talking about my heart was pumping like a machine gun. But I don't want to say machine gun. It's like really like a pumper, pumper, pumper. Yeah. And I'm looking at that and I'm going through all of this in my mind. And what do I say? I'm looking at her. She hadn't changed very much. But I assumed that she was married, probably had 3 or 4 bambinis. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what can I say to her? Well, we're crossing the street, she's passing me by, and she's coming this way, and I'm going that way, and I missed my target. The guy got away. Oh my God. Yeah. I had to report to my sponsors that I had one more time. Well, they didn't want to give me another chance because I had to get out of town. By that time, the word had gotten around, Gino's in town. When Gino's in town, what happens? They know why Gino's in town. So I had to get out of there. Just there, take care of you. I had to get out of there. Okay, don't take it so personal. I had to leave. Say it again. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. It's just business. You sound like you know a hit when you hear one. I love the Mario movie. Anyway, Gino, I had to leave Akron. And, next thing I know, I'm doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I wanted to hear, doing a little time, and I needed a rest because I was about to go out of my mind. I was tired. I couldn't get much sleep, or it's because you had things on your conscience. I asked him. What do you mean? What things? His business. Why would I have things on my conscience? When I asked him about things like, as the actor would say, what do you feel when you shoot somebody in the head with a pistol? I don't know. I've never been shot. He thought that was the funniest thing he ever heard. Oh, God. Well, look, Gina, I'm gonna tell you this. Try not to, do any more. Try to do any more. Not do any more headshots. Any more headshots. We can be mean. Hey, look, I kind of like you, Miss Odie. I tell you what. Right. You ever come to New York? You ever come to a place called Hackensack, New Jersey? Hackensack, New Jersey. You ever come to New Jersey? That's really where I spend my time. New York. Yeah, I got small town. I like, there's a beach. 162 Stanley Place. You got people who are warm and friendly. They know nothing about me. I don't know nothing about them. When I get ready to do business, so wait a minute, you finished that with that, right? Right. What do you finish with what? With, yeah, I mean, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. We did not have this conversation. What do you think I'm a joke? Social Security? We don't give Social Security, okay? I don't even have a health plan. So I gotta keep going. What about wife and children? I got a girlfriend, we got a couple of kids. I'm thinking about, moving to Italy. Better at Sicily. You speak Italian? Why should I speak Italian? I'm Italian. I'm thinking, what are you talking? Hey, what are you talking? He's a funny man. So I think he wrote about his story. I'm going to leave this go at this point because that was San Quentin. I went up the road to something called Jewel Vocational Institute or something like that. It was a juvenile place where they had young men who had done something wrong when they were serving time, and it was pitiful because they had become so indoctrinated. I could go to them when the class was, and we'd sit around and they'd say, hey, they tell me Gino's in your class. So the Gino was here. But what about so-and-so? Is he in your class? Yeah, he's in the class. I had to tell the truth because they had all the information. Right. What is Gino talking about? Say, hey man, let's deal with your story. What is your story about?
Yeah, he's doing his story over there, believe it or not. So, you know, as big a badass you think he is, he's being responsible in doing his story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know. I'll end it with the one I had with this big guy in San Quentin. Big brother, about 6'6", weighed about 289, 290. Who I was giving them homework assignments. Every week we do a short story, right? Complete with character sketches and the outline. And he did a couple of them, pretty good. And then he missed one. And I don't know what was on my little mind, but I met him coming in the door, you know, like Mr. Gallagher used to do us at Juice Hollow. You didn't have your short story at the last meeting. And why didn't you? And he's trying to, you can't make any excuses because you don't have anything but time. You got, and his face was in a perpetual frown. But when he released the frown, he had the prettiest expression on his face, and he laughed. And he laughed. And people told me later they hadn't seen him laugh in 5 years. From that point on, he became my friend and protector, and wish you all the best, man, wherever you are. But from that point on, he was a fairly good short story writer. You know, said, well, you know, you could compile all the stories you've written because you've had enough happen. You know, what's the last real thing that you remember happened? Oh man, we had a riot here. I think the month before you came. A riot? Like what? Well, you know, blacks against the Mexicans, Mexicans against the whites. They had Mexicans from the South having a riot against the Mexicans from the North, and the blacks used to barricade themselves over there in the
divide and conquer.
Yeah, and the police were just standing by waiting for people to get killed. He wrote about that.
Well, so thank you for clarifying times you were.
No, I have not served any personal time.
Okay. Oh, it's not good.
Got that.
Indeed. So, that's what they say with the writing. You write about things you know.
Write about what you know.
And reading is fundamental for writing because that expands your knowledge of things you know.
How true it is.
You know? And, you know, enjoy one's life. Take it serious, but not too serious.
Not too serious. Remember, none of us is going to get out of this alive.
That, and be sure to exercise 10 minutes a day. Be sure to do something new. Maybe once a week. How about that?
And if you have nothing else to do, buy one of my books and read it.
There you go. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. The website is again www.odiehawkins.com. And this is my husband, Odie Hawkins, who writes wonderful love letters. I know that's listening.
That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, I sure do.
Don't show anybody anything.